Hello everyone, it's finally that time to talk about Circus 2. Circus 2 is a very difficult level, I would say. It's definitely not the hardest in the game, but it's definitely one of those levels where there's so many different ways to do it that you are gonna have like a field day just trying to pick out what strats you want to go for and how you want to approach it. This level, of course, is just like very standard, is a very difficult level, and at top level is very difficult as well. It's ridiculously difficult at top level. Heck, I don't even go for the top level strats because it's that difficult. Nonetheless, I'm going to put myself through that suffering to do the strat and show it all off to you. But before I run through it, I'm just going to say that I'm not going to be doing the fastest strats for the run through. I'm going to be doing what I prefer doing, which is something I could probably teach you easier than teaching the fastest strats. I will try my best to teach all the strats here, but let's just get right into it. I actually remembered my trusty input display this time. In case you're wondering, I'd already started doing a take with this and I remembered, but I forgot it and felt very embarrassed. So, yeah, we're going to turn our camera and grab our egg. Cool. And then we're going to roll past this cat, hit this switch. I like to land roughly on this line and then jump over this gate. We're going to grab these bananas. And we're going to kill all these enemies. We're going to try and pick up some fruit. Not all of it. We don't need all of it. And then we're going to jump over this gate. Right door is always right. We've got bad RNG. That's fine. This level's very RNG. Well, this part of the level's a bit of a coin flip. As you saw, I landed on the wrong side. That's fine, but it doesn't affect anything really. It just means we're going to lose 4 seconds. Or 3 or 4 seconds. It's, as I said, not a big deal. We can just subtract that from our total time to be like, yeah, that's about average. Also a nice little IDU there. And then we're going to set up this trick here. I set this up very fast, so I'll explain how I set this up when we get to the explanation. And then we have big jump. And as you see, we can do a nice big skip there. So we're going to open the door at roughly 59, which I would say is about 55 if I did get a good RNG, which I didn't, but let's not dwell on that. And then we hit the switch. You want to be careful there. I will show off a safe strat, essentially. But yeah, that's the level. A 109 with bad RNG, I would say, is really good. That's a really good showcase. So now let's explain the level before you see the boss. So I guess the main thing that you need to take away from this level right now is that I did a giant sign bounce off an egg to go out of bounds. Now there's lots of different ways you can get out of bounds in this level. What I did was my personal preference, but if you are interested in doing that, we'll do that first because it's pretty cool. So essentially, yeah, we need to get a mid-sized egg as quick as possible, and so that's just going to be like the first thing I'm just going to say. We're going to try and aim to get a mid-sized egg as quick as possible. But let's talk about the actually how we're going to start this level off. So yeah, we're going to grab our egg here, ignore those cherries, they're not part of this, so let's just reset. Yeah, so we need to just get into that funhouse as quick as possible. I'd say there's 2 ways to do this. The easy way for me is to egg bounce and then just land over here. You hardly lose any time for going for this one, but it's up to you. The other way to hit both the switches is the way that Monkey suggested I should do it, which I've started learning to do, and it's what I showed off. It's essentially, you're going to hold down this direction and roll and then bounce here. So yeah, if in case you're wondering what direction, if the camera's like this, it's going to be upright and we're going to curve this way into the switch and then just hit it. But it's up to you how you do it. It's very minimal time loss. If you're learning, do whatever feels more comfortable. But after we hit that switch, we are going to, like how I like to do this door skip is I like to land on this line and then just jump forward, and as you can see, that just spaces you perfectly to jump over the door, which is great. Now let's talk about how we're going to get our egg to a mid-size. So we grab these 3 bananas and then kill all these enemies. You can kill these enemies with an egg shoot, or you can run through them like I do. I usually run through them if they're together. I egg shoot if they separate out. So this fruit will get us to a size 1 egg, and then you'll find that one of these big fruits will then max it out. Or not max out, get you to the size you want. And now you don't want any more fruit from this point with the setups I'm going to be showing you. So just keep that in mind. Also bad RNG, poggers. Cool. Now let's talk about what we do after we kill the enemies. And and get ahead of ourselves. So that's how you get a mid-sized egg. Let's just go back to some of the movement quick. Cool, so I should also mention that if there's a lot of watermelons dropped by the small enemies, don't pick up all the fruit, just pick up some, just pick up a couple. Mainly because watermelons will grow much faster, and you don't really want an egg too big, and I believe if you do pick up too much fruit, you can go oversized. So, yeah, we're going to just get over here. Let's do an egg shoot quick. That was a terrible egg shoot, but whatever. So there's this door here. We're going to wait to jump over it. We're going to make sure we're very clear of this door, and I'll try and show off an example as to why we don't want to try and rush jumping over this door, because some bad stuff can actually happen here, and I don't want to subject you to this. So that'll be the next thing I show off, is just how about that door, because it's spooky. Just remember to take your time on that door, because something like this may happen. So yeah, we're going to try and create the door glitch that can happen. If the door glitch happens to you, it's quite a setback. There we are. Yeah, the door can absolutely just take your egg like that, and essentially you're not going to get your egg back. Yeah, I'm quite excited to get that because that took me quite a lot of it takes to get. Essentially, yeah, if your egg touches the top of the door, it will just go down with the door and out of bounds. You ain't getting your egg back. If that does happen, you're going to have to try and pick up some fruit to compensate if you still want to go for that out of bounds skip. Okay, so what I've just come to realise that if that does happen to you, then grab the side egg, grab that banana, because that banana will grow up 2 sizes for you. So that's good to know, because right now my egg's a bit too big, and honestly I was just trying to think on the fly how you could back this up. But at least we know now. Cool. So remember, Cypher Egg, come over here, grab this banana. Do not grab the apple and the banana, just grab the banana. Right, now that we've done that, let's move on to after we've jumped over this door and not lost our egg. Okay, see you guys in a second. Cool, so now that you're in this room, yeah, you have 2 mirrors in front of you. One's a dud, one's real. Essentially, if you run into the dud door, you'll spawn 2 cats with 3 health here. And as you run through these mirrors, you want to grab one of these fruit as you go through. Only grab one of them though, so, you know, as you go through, grab one of the fruit. That'll give you a mid-sized egg, so those cats will go down in 2 hits. It's not that big of a loss if you do get the bad RNG. As far as we're aware, there is no way to tell from the front. I believe if we bounce like this, yeah, we can see what's real and what's fake. That's a fake door. Because we go on this side, we should be able to see through it. Let's check. Yeah, so that's a real door. Also, one way to know if what door is real and fake, this doesn't really apply for runs because we won't be resetting, but every time you reset the level, the door stays the same. And because I've been practicing, I knew for a fact this one was the right door, and that one was a dud. Fortunately, we cannot trigger the enemies to spawn now to show you what you do, but essentially you just run through both the cats, they should both die. But nonetheless, with that mirror broken, we're going to bounce through these switches like so. You can actually get this in 3 bounces, these 3 switches like so. It is kind of precise though. If you have to do it in 4, that's fine. And the enemies may mess you up. And on that 5th one, you want to just roll towards this door and roll down here. And if you press A at the bottom here, you could get an IGU, which I did get in the example, but I didn't get here, but that's fine. All you need to know about this room is these enemies may get in your way, and if they do, just get up, try again, maybe knock them out if they're being really annoying. They can take a lot of time from you, but yeah, that's just the nature of this room. It is a bit unfair. So, let's make our way down here, and let's talk about the out of bounds skip that we're about to set up for. Actually, before we explain that, I'm just going to explain just some stuff first. So, as you see, when I went through the left mirror, I came from this switch to this switch to this switch to this switch to this switch, and then rolled over this way. So, if you're coming from this mirror, you're going to go from this switch to this switch to this switch to this switch to this switch, and then roll that way. That's all I was going to say, just like that's the order we're going to do the switches from this door if you have to come through that, because I feel like that's something I should have explained. But now that we've explained it, let's move on. So, we're going to basically perform a sign jump, as we all know and love, like so. But along the way, we're going to bonk into an egg that is in our way. Let's just do one to show that off quickly. I'll explain how to set it all up once I've done my explanation. Also, let me just do it with a camera angle I know. with an egg in the way, we're going to get bounced up high in the air like so. And if we do the side jump right, we can get a lot of speed and a lot of height together to make it on top of this door. I would say this isn't the easiest way to do this out of bounds skip, but it's the way I prefer to do it, and I think it's one of the fastest ways to do it if you're doing it like the way that I've been doing it. That doesn't make much sense, but in a way it kind of does. It's just not going to make sense to anyone else. So let's talk about what we need to do to make this work. So, in fact, let me do this in a separate recording just in case anything goes wrong here. Cool, so the things that factor into making this skip work, let's just get it once to show what we're doing again in case you missed it in the example. We're going to essentially do a side jump here onto this egg, and then we're going to bounce on top of this door. So how can we do that? How can we get that consistently? Well, there's a lot of things you need to consider. The first is how good your side jump was, because basically it's a very good side jump into an egg. So what makes a very good side jump? Well, I would say it's a side jump like that, essentially. And what does that mean? Okay, so a side jump, the effect of a side jump is basically of how well you time it. If you flick away too early, like so, you're not going to go anywhere. Because you flicked too early that it didn't realise that you're actually holding into the sign. If you get something like this, oh, that's actually a really good one, that was really well timed. But if you get a side jump like this, or anyone that's like really slow, doesn't get a lot of speed, then you're probably like flicking away too late, because you need to, because you see if you hold in, you're going to restrain yourself quite a lot. So you need to like balance that out between when you're going to hold into sign and when you're going to hold away. And essentially what I like to say is when you notice you're being launched, that's when you want to hold away, like so. And as you see, that gets me up there pretty well. But that's not the only thing you need to factor, that's just the first important factor, is the speed of your sign jump, which is based off your timing. The next important thing, of course, is the angle. So, as you can see, if I was to try and do it here, I wouldn't go anywhere, or I probably wouldn't go anywhere very far. Your angle is important here. So yeah, let me try again. So let's say I approach it from here. You see I'm going to miss the egg and not get very much height. Or you might brush the egg but not get enough height. We need to hit the egg dead on so that it sends us high into the air. And so the best way to do that is to have a very nice straight camera angle, maybe hold up on the C stick so you can see straight down. And then basically if I hold forward from this point, I'm pretty much dead on and I can get a lot of height. Like so. Awesome. Next up is the positioning of the egg. That's like probably one of the more important parts. If you have it a little bit offset to the left or right, then that's usually fine. It's usually just your distance from the sign. So for example, let's do it so our egg is like here. As you can see, that's pretty close to the sign. And if I tried to sign bounce, what you might find is that I'm going to hit the egg very early before I've even built up speed, and I'm not going to go very high. I'm not going to go very fast. But if I put my egg too far back, like say here for example, then what you might find is that I'm going to get a lot of speed but not a lot of height. Like so. You see, I went higher than a lot of the other sign bounces I did, but I didn't get nearly high enough to get out the door. So you need to find that perfect middle ground, and I do have that perfect middle ground for you. Roughly I look at the right of the shadow of the egg in this sort of angle here, and I have it roughly spaced a few pixels to the left from this point that Billy's standing on, you know, where that little T shape of the line is that goes this way and this way. So I guess get familiar with that spot. I'll leave it there for you just so you get familiar with it. As you can see, that little bit of yellow is to the right of the egg, just to give us some space. And as you'll see, if I line up, do a nice straight jump, you'll go flying into the sky, which is great. Other things to mention is like the camera angle can be a bit awkward. So yeah, I recommend just C-stick up, claw grip, bounce with your index finger if you have to, and then just try and line up the camera as straight as possible. And even then that was too curved. Okay, so that's another thing is, if you think your angle was straight but you go off in an awkward angle, then you're probably too far into the sign. Because, okay, let's use this giant circle as a reference point. I'm going to try not to lose this egg. So this is going to sound confusing, but like imagine this is part of the sign. If I bounce from here, held back, it's pretty obvious that like if we held back and forward, we're going to go that way. And if we held back and forward, we're going to go sort of like this way, because that's just how angles work. But if I was to hold it here, hold back forward, we're pretty sure, yeah, that's pretty certain we're going to do that. Let's say I moved 1 pixel to the right or something like that. Our angle is going to be a lot more sharper, so, or like, it's going to be a little bit more unpredictable, or like, the slightest movement is going to affect your angle quite a lot compared to if you're further out. So if you're a little bit further out of the sign, then that's fine because it means you are a little bit more accurate with your angles. So you don't have to be tucked up right close to that sign. It gives you a lot of speed, but it makes your angle a little bit more uncontrollable. So I would recommend not being completely in the sign, being somewhat into it. I think a lot of people underestimate how far you need to be into the sign. For example, like, that'll give you a lot of height. If the angle was good, that probably would have worked perfectly. So that's one way of doing it. Yeah, this is just important to say. This trick is very difficult, so if you can't get this right away, that's fine. I'm going to show off lots of different ways to do this. So let's just do it one more time. Let's go on top of the door now. That was just bad timing. I could tell that timing was awful. But yeah, I guess the one way to get good at this is to know why things fail, and hopefully I've showed off enough examples to tell you why things fail. Also, if you get an awkward angle, sometimes you can save it like that. Okay, so now you're on the door. We're going to egg bounce over like so onto the other side of the door, because we can't just run through this wall. There is a little bit of an invisible wall we have to bounce over. And now we have to bounce over there. So I think how I do this is I do a claw grip. Okay, claw grips don't work. Essentially the camera's going to be very awkward here. It's going to try and turn by itself. So we need to jump down to the right from this angle into that room. So what we're going to do is we're going to bounce. I'm going to just stop bouncing because it's really annoying. Yeah, essentially we're going to bounce, hold towards the room, and if the camera turns, we're just going to adjust our angle to account for that. And then after a couple seconds, we're going to roll. The timing of the roll, you have to get used to yourself. I don't really have any visual cues for it. I guess I just know the arc of the roll. I know what's going to work, what's not going to work. But it should look like this. As you can see. It's easier to roll earlier than later. And now you're in here, we need to kill all these cats. Do not let your egg break at this point. So let's talk about what happens next. So, in the upcoming room, we have a switch surrounded by fire. Now, usually hitting fire switches is not that big a deal, but if you've kind of noticed, in this room, there's no egg, and there's also no egg in this room. So if you were to lose your egg, you kind of are screwed. So what I would recommend for a lot of beginner runners to do is whilst you're getting used to this fire hoop, you should break open this mirror so you have access to this room, which has 2 eggs inside of it. So you're fine for eggs. But now let's talk about what to do next. So we're going to do a dash cancel jump over this and a dash jump over this, and we're going to egg bounce to hit the fire switch. But I'm just going to reset the room a little bit just so this guy doesn't get in our way. In fact, let's show off what we don't want to happen. So we need to time this egg bounce so well. So what I like to do is I like to do C stick up so I can see the ground. And I like to go past where the shadow looks like it's going to go. So you couldn't see the shadow there. We saw the shadow on it, but once I saw the shadow go, I knew I was good to bounce. So essentially, if I went a little bit too early, like say I saw it there, yeah, we could lose our egg. And yeah, I would say it's very easy to misjudge where you are. I'd say just go past a little bit past what you were expecting, and that should be pretty good. As again, if you lose your egg, you have to backtrack all the way back. And maybe sometimes have to do outbound skipping. I also think there's a checkpoint around here, so you might be able to trigger a checkpoint. I actually don't know. But yeah, if you fail, grab its egg, head back. I'm actually not going to show off the casual route for this level because I don't think it's very relevant these days. But yeah. Once that switches hit, the door's going to come down and we're just going to jump over. At this point you actually don't need your egg. I think it's fast to actually go without an egg because you don't actually have that burden. So, once you've done that, you're going to walk through the portal and activate the boss. But before we do that, there are like 20 different strats I need to show off, so let's do that right now. Okay, So these next strats actually don't involve a mid-sized egg, and these are basically other ways to do out-of-bounds skip, essentially. So we're actually not going to grow our egg at all, and this is going to cause a couple complications. The first one being, if we actually get bad RNG on the coin flip here, these cats are going to be a little bit more problematic to take out, and also our maneuverability on this switch room is going to be a bit more difficult. It should be fine though. We do know for a fact that this is the door because I've just been pressing reset on the IR, so I haven't actually gone back to stage select to change that. As you can see, I can hit that switch in one bounce, and I actually have to do 2 bounces to cover for it. This bit's basically the same though, which is fine. So that's like the first thing. So the next, there's like 4 different strategies you can do. I think I'm going to show off 3 though, because one I don't think is very worth going for. But let's start off with the fan favourite for beginners. This is known as the dad bounce. Essentially, if you are to do a soft jump into this wall like so, we can put our egg in the corner. And I don't think I've actually explained dad bouncing in too much detail yet. I can't really think of anywhere else to show this off. But essentially, if you have an egg directly in the corner, like so, and you start bouncing on top of it or holding into the corner, you'll see that like you just sort of float in the air like so. We can actually use this to start generating height, which is actually really interesting. So basically, what you're going to do to do that is we're going to hold in on the way out, and as we come up, we're just going to flick to neutral. And as you can see, we're generating a little bit more height, and I've just lost my egg. Nice. So that's how you do a dad bounce. And essentially, let's go grab this egg from over here, and let's just do another dad bounce. The timing takes a little bit of time to get used to, but essentially I say as you come up, just flick stick to neutral, and as you go down, hold into the wall. So yeah, let's do it one more time. So as you can see, generate a lot of height. Normally you just want to make sure you have enough height to cover this, to cover, you know, just get up there nice and easy. So that wasn't good. I started trying to hold into the wall and it just didn't work out, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. We'll try it one more time. So remember, soft jump into the wall, so that's jump, then hold into it, and that basically grinds you down the wall. You gotta bring an egg over, and you're gonna egg bounce into the corner like so, and then hold up. Sometimes you'll get something like this happen to you, which is fine, just keep trying. If you need to refresh the eggs, please do so. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh. Yeah, sometimes dab bouncing takes a bit of time to get used to, but it is a strat you can do. There we are. There we are. And once you've got like enough height like that, you can just bounce on to the platform, bounce over the gap, and then do the air roll like we have discussed. Like so. This is actually pretty good backup if you do fail outbound skip. So that's another way to do it. Let's go back and let's discuss some other strats you can do. So yeah, one alternative strat you have to doing this outbound skip is to do an ESB or an egg shoot bounce if you're unsure what that meant. Essentially we're going to put our egg roughly here, and we're going to egg shoot this egg away from the corner, and we're going to jump into this corner and do a bounce like so. The timing is kind of strict, so that's why I don't really recommend it. And you go on this wall. I would say this one's not really worth going for because it is quite difficult, and if you fail it, you're going to lose a lot of time to having to set up and do it again. But I ain't going to stop you. If you prefer it, go for it, but it's up to personal preference. Let's put this egg back. Let's pretend that's where the egg spawns, and we're going to set up for the next trick. Okay, so if you don't want to do the ESB, but you want to do a really fast strat with 2 small eggs, even though if you have 2 small, if you're going for really fast strats, you should be going for the sign bounce. Let me show off another strat you can do. You can come roughly here, bring your eggs around here. You need to be kind of close to the door for this. Essentially, we're going to do a PDR, and a PDR is essentially if you egg shoot an egg, and then you dash jump into that returning egg. So it should look like this. And they're kind of hard to get, which is why I don't really recommend it. So if you get a good one like that, you can make it up on the door like so. Yeah, again, it's one of those tricks that's hard to get, and if you fail it, you're going to lose a lot of time. But if you do get it, it'll look pretty cool. I just wouldn't really recommend it if you're learning. And there's really one circumstance in which I would consider doing it. And that's basically what I'm going to explain next. And I'm also going to say this strat that I'm about to explain, I would say do it if you're looking to get the best possible time. in any percent. Don't try and do it if you're learning, because this is going to be a bit rough. So let's get on to that right now. Okay. So this has been the final strat that I'm going to show off for the level. And I do need to clarify that this is probably going to be one of the hardest strats that's in the game right now. This is extremely difficult to go for. In fact, only one runner does this, and the only reason why he does it is because he's bad at out of bounds skip with the sign jump. That's his words, not mine. And he says if he's going to kill his run to sign jump, he might as well kill it to a trick that's going to save him more time. This essentially is known as double out of bounds skip. As the name suggests, yes, we're going to be going out of bounds twice. And what this skips is that RNG coin flip, but at a very, very, very tough cost. You know, you got to do two very precise tricks back to back, and you know, if you miss any of them, you're going to start losing time over the normal out of bounds skip. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our egg there and start rolling it over this way, like so. It takes a bit of time to get used to. I would not recommend this if you're learning, because you're more likely to fail it, and if you fail it, you're going to start losing time over the normal way. So essentially, we're going to put this egg into the corner, and then we're going to do an EDR off this corner. Now, an EDR off this corner I find is really difficult to do, and I'm hoping that Cosmic could help me with this bit, maybe do it in his own words, but essentially we're going to dash against this wall, well, a little bit against the wall. We don't want to dash against the wall too much, otherwise we'll get some bad bounces like so. And we're going to dash jump into the egg with some perfect timing. And if we get the perfect timing, we're going to get launched straight up on top of this door. Like so. And once we're here, we're going to egg bounce across the gap like this and driver. If we driver, it just ensures that we're on the right side of the egg, and we're grounded. So now that we're grounded, we're going to do a dash jump over that way, where the camera faced. So let me just rotate the camera back and jump on the spot so I don't lose my egg. So now that we're like this, we're going to do a quick dash jump down this way and into this room. That's the first out of bounds skip, and it's quite difficult. As you see, I failed it a couple times before I got it. That's just the way that the EDR works. I don't really have any advice on EDRs. I don't really understand them myself, and it's kind of frustrating that I don't understand them, because they are very unpredictable in nature. It's a very difficult trick to go for. I think Cosmic's the only one who really does it, and that's fair enough. If it works for him, it works for him. So now that we're in here, we now have two small eggs, and as I was saying, we need to get up here really fast to make it save time. So the best way to do that is to do a PDR. So bring your egg here-ish, and we're going to just do our egg shoot and dash into the egg, and then hope we get up first attempt. As you can see, this is really, really tough because I'm failing it even. So as you see, we're now up on the wall, and then we can egg bounce across like so, and then this level's back to normal. But it's a strat that's there. It's a strat that's very difficult, but it's a strat that's there. I thought I'd include that just in case anyone is wondering what double out of bounds skip even is, because it is a strat that is RTA viable for sure, but requires a lot of knowledge of the game and a lot of persistence and a lot of, yeah, it takes a lot of persistence to get it first try. So let's finish off the level and let's start talking about the boss. I'll run through the boss first, and then I'll explain everything bit by bit, as I normally do. And yeah, that's basically everything to cover on the level. So thank you for that part. Let's move on to the boss. Okay, so we got to fight the big monkey man. This is Sultan. In case you're wondering what his name is Sultan. He's a monkey, and this boss is really cool. He's a really fast boss fight. We're going to break that mirror, get him out of here, and then we're going to hit him 5 times. And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to pick up all this fruit. Now we're going to line up ourselves on a certain post here. When it comes to the explanation, I'll explain how I know which post is which, and then we can break down how this boss fight is done. This will be the only strat for this boss I'm going to show off, because I actually don't know the other strats anymore. It's been so long since this one was found, and it's become my normal way of doing it. It's also really easy. And then we're going to grind up against this mirror and whack, whack. Break this mirror. Grab that melon, which is now handily respawned. At 1, 2, and kabonk like that. I've now cancelled my dash kind of, so I'm going to tap forward and press B to shoot our egg away and grab the emblem. Now the end cutscene would play there, but I'm going to reset to actually explain things bit by bit, so let's get onto that right now. So, we got a monkey. We like monkeys. Shout out to Monkey SMB, he's a monkey. We're going to dash to the right after grabbing our egg, and we're going to wait at this mirror here. Once his like nose pokes out, we're going to break the mirror. You can wait till he's more clear just to be safe, but yeah, once his nose pokes out, that's good enough. And then we're going to come around back here and grab that melon. We need to grab that melon very quickly, so we can come back here and hit him 5 times. Yeah, once he gets to about there, he's going to become invulnerable. Then we're going to go here, grab this cherry and this banana and this apple. And then we're going to line up to this post right here. And the reason why we know it's this post, if we turn the camera down, there should be that egg to our left there. As you can see, this is the post. Just use that egg to know where you are. If there's an egg to your left, that sort of spacing in, yeah, that's the right egg. We're just going to keep dashing so we don't get sucked in. And we're going to come to the back and hit him 3 times, sorry. It was not sure how many times you hit him. It's 2 times on the next one. Then we're just going to walk into this mirror. If we start dashing into this mirror, it may not break immediately, so you want to just walk into it to break it. Hit him twice, dash off, dash cancel into this mirror to break it, and then come around back. And as you see, that's where the melon spawns. So, standing in that post that we did, before you try to suck us in, essentially means that when he comes out of that phase, he's going to turn 90 degrees, and then go into that mirror, and then he's going to come out and basically walk across the arena, which is where the melon was. So it essentially lines up everything. I said 90 degrees a minute ago, but I didn't mean 180. I'm just an idiot. So yeah, here, just 1, then dash through on the last one. That's what I like to do. And then I just hold nothing for the last cutscene and then get ready to tap forward. Yeah, Sultan's a really easy boss. If you do mess up anything, you will have to fight another cycle. But that's fine. It's honestly not a big deal. You will lose time, but it's not bad. But that's the level. I don't think I've forgotten anything. That should be everything. Surprisingly shorter than I expected. But yeah, that was Circus 2. It's a very tough level. I guess find what you think is best for you. Whether that be doing the dad bounce strat, or whether you find doing the... whether you find doing the... doing the outbound skip sign jump easiest, that's what I find. Or whether or not you are the type of person who wants to do double outbound skip and get good at it. That's up to you. I do like that you do have a bit of creative liberty with this level. There are lots of different ways you can play. There's even KBCs in this level, but I don't think they really save any time. That's why I didn't really bring them up. So yeah, I've been Kyrone. Follow me at twitch.tv/Kyrone for Billy Hatcher speedruns and stuff like that. All that cool stuff. If you want to learn more about speedrun, join the Discord. Discord link will be in the description as always, and if you are interested in... If that link doesn't work, that's what I want to say, then you can go to speedrun.com/BH to get that link. Yeah, so I've been Kyrone. I'm going to get back to making more tutorials because, yeah, I want to get this all done now. So, see you guys.